Good morning, students. Welcome to the English Literature class of BA second year. I am Kamala Ratnoo, Assistant Professor in English. We are studying the essay The Spider and the Bee by Jonathan Swift. Now, as the title suggests, that it is a fable about a spider and a bee. But if we study the essay in detail, we see that the spider and bee have been symbolically used by the writer to express his views. The episode of the spider and the bee occurs just as the two rival armies of books are poised for battle. It is all in the epic traditions, the uneasy calm before the storm. But the context is significant, taken by itself. The Spider and the Bee is a fable rich in suggestion. Although Swift's satire was written for a particular occasion, it has an element of universality, and hence one can still derive from it both light and delight. So, students, this essay, it reflects the tussle between the ancient writers and the modern writers, and Jonathan Swift decided to settle the matter as to who is great, whether the ancient writers are great or the modern writers are great, because both the set of writers have different ideologies. The ancient writers had different style of writing, whereas the modern writers had a different style of writing, and there was this continuous debate as to who is better, whether the ancient writers are better or the modern writers are better. And Swift had his own views on this matter, and he does not he was not in favor of anyone, but it was just his evaluation about the merits and demerits of the ancient writers as well as the modern writers, and he analyzes the various aspects of writing of the writers of different eras, and what are the salient features and what are the defining features of writing, whereas these two schools of thought are concerned. So in a very interesting way, he has presented this comparison or this discussion by means of a fable, and he has selected two creatures, that is the spider and the bee, to put forward his logic or his views. The merits of science and technology are often conversed today, and attempts are made by short-sighted men to minimize the importance of humanities, for example, literature, history, and philosophy. The bee in Swift's fable stands for ambrosial humanism, while the spider typifies science and technology divorced from beauty and humanity. So many critics think that Swift has used the spider to portray the science that is devoid of humanity and beauty, and the bee exemplifies the humanities. Although we can say that science and humanities are not opposing forces, in a way they compensate one another and they complement one another, but sometimes there are these stereotypes and these conceptions that science and humanities are opposite to one another, and then certain cliches come into existence. So some critics thought that the spider and the bee, they exemplify science and humanities. We can agree or disagree with it, but it is a general impression that is there. And then Swift goes on to um, give a very we can say a very funny and at the same time very intelligent and very satirical account of the conversations or the dialogues between the spider and the bee, and how the spider tries to justify itself and the bee also tries to justify itself, and what is the ultimate conclusion in it. So that has been presented in a very, very beautiful manner. And as we know that Swift was a great satirist, and the vein of satire runs very powerfully in this essay also. And in our next class, we'll study in detail the text portions of this essay, The Spider and the Bee by Jonathan Swift. So that is all for today. Thanks.